everybody, welcome to Youth Connect. I'm Aiden.
Hey, I'm Kevin.
I'm Jeffrey.
And welcome to our Youth Connect. Hello everybody, welcome to Youth Connect. I just want to tell everybody here, I hope that you guys are excited because today is our last Youth Connect of the year. Now we don't have our good story news and our animal news, but don't worry because we always have something planned just in case some of us can't make it. You will be seeing a very special guest with us today, but you won't meet them just yet because obviously Joshua has to go on the second start. If you don't know what Youth Connect is a news, interest, entertainment show that was created during the pandemic for the community, by the community. Everyone here is ready to share with you some news that I think that you guys are going to love. And starting off, if you know, the first thing and the first person that we have to start off with is myself and some gaming news. Okay, guys, so what do we start off first with our gaming news? Well, we always have to do our Spotlight Game of the Week. Now, what in the world is Spotlight Game of the Week if you haven't seen it before? Well, basically, it's me shining the light on something that I think that I want you guys to check out. A game that I think is a little bit silly and always making sure that the game is relatively age appropriate. And trust you me, this game is definitely age appropriate. It's going to be for this. It's for the Switch and the PC, and it's called Little Gator Game. So the island is your playground. There's a buddy atop every hill in this open world, movement-focused adventure, and they all seem to need help. Bop cardboard baddies, brave serene hills and forests, and scale sheer rocks that only a kid would dare. So explore a lovely crafted island filled to the brim with areas to discover, friends to make, and joy to be had. Each area of the island brings unique quests and characters to meet. You can glide through the mountaintops or drop in on the theater troupe kids. Swing your stick sword through the forest with the prep schoolers, or find the cool kids down in the creek lands. With plenty more areas to discover, there's no knowing what you might run into. The interesting factor is that you can collect art and craft supplies all over the island, and you can use them to make yourself all kinds of goodies and bring the playground to life. Craft new abilities, use your ragdoll teddy and ragdoll little gator from mountaintops to the valleys below. Skim pebbles into hard to reach cardboard baddies. This game absolutely is the cutest thing I have ever seen. It's an open world kind of focused, kind of like Zelda game where you collect stuff and you build new abilities. But the interesting factor is that it has a arts and crafts kind of aspect. So things aren't just beautiful trees and beautiful grass. It's all cardboard and toothpicks and things like that. And this game that gives a little bit of silliness to an open world kind of game is always fun. And if you guys ever want to check it out, I recommend that you do because it's definitely safe for kids. Anyways, though, next up is Kevin, and Kevin has with us some all-important news.
Hello, everyone. You are tuned into Youth Connect with me, Kevin Aruja. For now, let's go to our headlines. Ontario won't make staycation tax credit permanent despite calls for industry. The Toronto City Council to ask province to conduct the independent review into Eglinton Crosstown delays. Shopify won't move into the well and it will develop current space at King Portland Center. And FIFA to rethink 2026 format as they face spoiling current winning recipe. Ontario's tourism minister said the province won't be extending the staycation tax credit for another year, despite the hard-hit industry recommending the move as a way to help it recover from the pandemic. Neil Lumsden, the Minister of Tourism, Culture and Sport, said in a statement that the province temporarily introduced it for the 2022 tax year to spur pandemic recovery for the tourism, hospitality, and culture sectors. That will end this year, but Lumsden says the province is supporting the sector in other ways, including $48.1 million for festivals and events and $19.1 million in support for regional tourism organizations in 2022 to 23. Toronto City Council has voted in favor of a motion asking the province to conduct an independent third-party review into the delays around the Eglinton Crosstown Light Rail line. The motion was amended during Thursday council meeting to change the request from a public inquiry to an independent review and that it will be conducted following the completion of the Eglinton Crosstown. Ontario Transportation Minister Caroline Mulroney said last week that the Ford government has made it clear and that it wants the line to open as soon as possible, and that people deserves a line that operates well and operates safely. Metrolinx has said that it is expected most of the work to be complete in the fall, but in an update in September, they say that target would no longer be met. The agency has not set a new target date for the completion of a line so far. The Shopify Incorporated said it won't move into the high profit retail, office, and residential building in Toronto. The Ottawa tech company is abandoning plans to open an office at the Well complex on King Street, West and Spadina Avenue, but will instead develop its current space at the nearby King Portland Center to fit its needs. Shopify was initially slated to occupy 254,000 square per feet at the Well, with the option to add another 433,752 square feet. Rarican Real Estate Investment Trust, one of the Well owners, says it was looking forward to welcoming Shopify to the property, but understands the company needs have changed and are better suited for the expansion of the existing office space. Having just delivered the most exciting group stage ever seen at the World Cup with a tried and tested format that keeps hundreds of millions of fans enthralled, FIFA now faces the prospect of ripping it all up. It means world's football governing body are rethinking the format of the next World Cup as original plans to have 16 groups of 3 teams in the next phase, with from each advancing to the next stage, now look dangerously dull, as well as potentially courting unsporting behavior. As things stand for 2026, when Canada, Mexico, and the US jointly hosting the World Cup, there is a risk of many dead matches. For example, if the last group was between 2 teams who had already won one each and were therefore already qualified, or contrived results. And at weather, although weather's warning have ended, so we do have a chance of a few flurries and rain showers today. Saturday also has a chance of flurries, but Sunday it will be a mix of sun and cloud. Temperatures over this weekend will range from -2 degrees to -1 degrees during the day and -5 and -1 during the night. With all that messy weather had yesterday, I thought I would give you some fun facts about snow. Yes, as you can see, there's a snow background that is titled Snow. That means it's snow. So, what is snowfall? To understand snowfall, we have to know a little bit about why it rains. When water becomes warm, it evaporates as water vapor into the air, forming clouds. When it cools again above our heads, the vapor turns back to water, and rain falls back to the ground when it's really cold. The water vapor freezes into crystals, causing snow. And if it's cold and dry on the ground, the snow won't melt. Instead, each flake of snow will land on top of the other, causing the snow to build and play with. How cold does it have to be to snow? For it to snow, the temperature in the sky has to be freezing, so that's 0 degrees Celsius for it to lay. The ground also has to be 0 degrees Celsius or below. The sunglasses in snow, definitely. You might have noticed when people go skiing, they wear sunglasses or goggles. That is because if the sun is out, its light will reflect on the white of the snow and it can cause harm to eyes. So if it's sunny and snowy, wear some protective eyewear. Interesting facts that about snowflakes are made up of tiny frozen crystals. Usually a snowflake is formed up for about 200 of these ice crystals. Snowflakes have 6 sides. There is a famous saying that goes, no two snowflakes are the same, As snowflakes fall to the ground, they will each take their own unique journey, and that journey will determine what they look like. And who built the first snowman? Well, we're not too sure exactly who built the first snowman, but it's been a fun snowy activity for hundreds and hundreds of years. Bob Eckstein wrote a book called The History of the Snowman and explored facts about snowman building. The earliest documentation he found was of an illustration of a snowman from a book written in 1380. The biggest snowman ever created was just over 122 feet tall in America. They called the snow woman Olympia Snow. With that, we come to the end of my segment. Tune in next week for another segment of news, weather, and interesting fact. And now, I'm sending you back to you, Aiden.
I was wondering why you had literally the word snow written in your background. And you know what? Snow is quite awesome. If you have ever found yourself a time where you're stuck in the snow, let's say you're going skiing and you fall down and you accidentally get buried in snow, did you guys know that snow is one of the best insulators because it is 90 to 95% just air? So, you know those igloos that are just pure ice? Well, guess what? That snow and that ice packed together, even though it's cold, your body heat is trapped in it. So you can create yourself a little heat bubble. And that's why most animals, when they hibernate, go into the snow because actually they stay pretty warm during winter months because of its beautiful insulation power that it has. I like the news. What did you think of the news, Jeff?
I thought it was very interesting. It's very pretty looking at the snow, especially when it starts snowing. Yeah, that's what I liked about it.
Our second gaming news. So I hope you guys are ready for that. And for our second gaming news, it's actually quite a shocker even for myself. Did you guys know that the longtime Ash voice actors Rika Matsumoto and Sarah Natochenny posted their own tributes to the character online, with Natochenny saying, "No matter what lies beyond his final chapter, he'll live forever in the hearts of many generations to come." So, for those who don't know, guess what happened? Recently, in the series of Pokemon, Ash Ketchum has finally made it and become the world's champion and has completely defeated the Elite Four and has become the new world champion of Pokemon. So what does that mean? That means that Ash and Pikachu's journey has now officially come to an end. After 2 centuries of, like a century of non-stop Pokemon and so much news. Yes, I know it was a century because it's almost 80 years or so that Pokemon has been out, and the original series has been out for that long as well. Oh, if you want a better one, 2 decades. That's a better assumption. But while this is also probably a good thing for the Pokemon series to shake things up, especially after it being 2 decades of following Ash and Pikachu around the world, I gotta say, it kind of hurts. I've been watching it ever since the original series came out, and it has officially come to an end. And having these 2 characters be a long-time fixture in Pokemon has made them like a memorabilia for every fan, young and old. We even saw how much people cared about Ash's rise to champion when it happened, as fans who had long were posting congratulatory statements about how proud they were of the never-aging 10-year-old boy. But now he's a Pokemon master, and now there's not much left to do with his story. So maybe now Pokemon will set its new site on news stories that will help explore the world in a new context. I've heard, let me just say, a little Pidgey told me that the newest series, Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, may get 2 new characters that will be the start of a brand new Pokemon series. But maybe they might stop the Pokemon anime altogether. But I recommend that they don't, because you know what? That series was a huge thing for me when I was a young kid. I used to watch the original series. But yeah, they finished it. He's the Pokemon master. And guess what? Now we have to move on to a new person, a new story. But apparently, the Ash will appear every once in a while. And just like as Brock and Misty becomes a side character, Ash will become a side character as well, which is okay. Now, this is where I would say next up is Joshua, but here's where I said that our special guest comes in today. I hope you guys are excited for this person because you know what? It is going to be our very first female, what should I say? Another first female in Youth Connect that is going to be sharing some news. So I should say next up is Zoe with some animal news.
Let's talk about animal news. Have you ever wondered what happened to animals? Let me tell you. Nearly 7 billion people have fled Ukraine since the Russian invasion in February of 2022, and 30% of the Ukrainians have been forced to leave their pets behind. This means that there are tons of abandoned dogs and cats that are now wandering dangerous streets without homes. Dog in Homes is a rescue that has delivered 40 tons of aids via the several missions since the war began. It is now arranging to deliver over 20 tons of donated foods and supplies to dogs and cats to a warehouse on the Polish-Ukrainian border. Many people are working together to help save as many animals as possible. This is Zoe saying, if you can help, please make a difference.
All right, guys. So that was Zoe with some animal news. She did so well. And it's always awesome to have a special guest because you know what? That means you get to see somebody brand new sharing some news with you. We might even need to have Zoe come on again because you know what? She was so good at doing it. Now, moving on, we have to go into our third person, which would be Nebraska, but couldn't make it as well. So I am here to take with you guys a podcast of the week. And today's podcast of the week is actually one of my favorites, which is, drumroll please, Wakanda Forever, the official Black Panther podcast. So it started in November the 3rd, so you guys have a lot of episodes to catch up with. Host Tanishi Coates chats with cast and crew on Wakanda Forever, the official Black Panther podcast, a new film which dropped on November the 11th. And the podcast takes listeners behind the scenes and honors the late Chadwick Boseman, the film's cultural impact, and more. Additional episodes, guys, will be posted in January to celebrate the 5th anniversary of the Black Panther first film. I don't know about you guys, but when you have an official podcast that's for the Black Panther, it's always good to have a listen because you know what? That means it was made by Marvel, and Marvel is pretty good at what they do. So their podcast is also going to be pretty darn good. Now, I always love listening to podcasts. And another one I have with you guys is another one right here. Now, if you want a little bit more on the serious side and a little bit more on the trivial side to get a little bit of knowledge, I recommend checking out Extra Nuggets. So from Solid Verbal Media comes Extra Nuggets, a fun trivia podcast hosted by Dan Rubenstein and Adam Amin. The duo asks each other's questions from old Jeopardy categories, and then they converse about the correct answers. I say it's a must listen if you're looking for new facts or ready to boost your bar trivia game. These are some interesting podcasts that I think that you should check out. It's a lot of fun to check out podcasts, and I recommend checking out both. Again, the first one is Black Panther Wakanda Forever, official podcast, and the second one, which is the awesome Extra Nuggets. One's trivia, one's based on Black Panther. So if you like Black Panther, watch that one. If you like trivia, watch or listen, give a listen to the other one. But now, you know what? I think I want to ask Kevin and Jeff. What did you or you know what? While Jeffrey gets ready, Kevin, what do you think about the podcast, and what did you think about Zoe's news?
Well, I kind of like they mentioned Black Panther. I like also like trivia as well. So if you guys are into trivia, I guess I highly recommend it to listen to the podcast.
I do as well. And you know what? I still want to say again, even though I see her on the side, I'm just going to say, I hope you guys really enjoyed Zoe. And if you did, make sure to like the video, because you know what? It just shows that, you know what? Zoe may need to be part of the crew if we get enough likes. So make sure to like that video so that maybe you'll see Zoe again. But anyways, though, next up we have Jeffrey. And Jeffrey has with us some live music.
Hi, this is Jeffrey, your live musician, and I'm going to be playing With a Little Help from My Friends by the Beatles. And also, since it's almost Christmas time, I'm going to add a little bit of a Christmas song as well. So, here we go. What would you think if I sang out a tune? Would you stand up and walk out of me? Let me your reason, I'll sing you a song, and I'll try not to sing out of key. Oh, I get by a little help from my friends. I get by a little help from my friends. I'm gonna try a little help from my friends. What do I do when my love is away? There's a worry to be alone. How do I feel at the end of the day? Are you sad because you're on your own? Oh, I get by a little help from my friends. I get high a little help from my friends. I'm gonna try with little help from my friends. Do you need anybody? I need somebody to love. Could it be anybody? I just need someone to love. Would you believe in a love like this? Yes, I'm certain that happens all the time. What do you see when you turn up the light? Yes, I tell you, I know it's mine. Oh, I get by with a little help from my friends. I get high with a little help from my friends. I'm gonna try a little help from my friends. Do you need anybody? I just need someone to love. Could it be anybody? I just need someone to love. Oh, I get by a little help from my friends. Get high a little help from my friends. I try a little help from my friends. Oh, I get by a little help from my friends. Do you need anybody? I need somebody to love. Could it be anybody? I just need someone to love. Oh, I get by a little help from my friends. Get high, a little help from my friends. Get shy, a little help from my friends. Oh, I get by a little help from my friends. A little help from my friends. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Good tidings we bring to you and your king. We wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Good tidings we bring to you and your king. We wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Good tidings we bring to you and your king. We wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Thank you, everybody. This is Jeffrey, your live musician. See you next time in the new year, and it's back to you, Aiden.
All right, guys, I think that Jeffrey's little bit of holiday music is always fun and a little bit merry and made me feel a little bit jolly. Now, sadly, we have reached the end of our Youth Connect. If you did like Youth Connect,
Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe.
And don't forget to click the notification bell.
other than that, guys, Merry Christmas and happy holidays.
Happy holidays.
See you all next time.
See you all
Bye,
next time.
guys.
Bye.
Bye.